All right, had better go live tonight. What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew. It is, I better get going. Gary is sledging me here in the comments section for starting on schedule. Thanks, mate. It's good to hear from you nice and early. His watch is having some issues, so no stress, mate. Paul James Show, it is our round 19 review episode. Round 19 review episode. I'm losing track of what round of the season we're in at this point. It's all become a bit of a blur. Our round 19 review episode. The Cats beating the Saints this weekend by 31 points. We're going to pick through everything. Great to hear from and all of you over the course of the night. I can see Roaming is here. Mark's popped up. Gary, as I said, sledging. A couple of hoopers waiting a couple minutes before the show started. I appreciate the patience from all of you. Very nearly, I will admit, very nearly missed the show in the end. I was putting my daughter to sleep and I fell asleep in her bed alongside her. Woke up 7:25 and I haven't moved like that in a while. So we're here. We're on time. I'm a bit dusty, getting some sleep out of the eyes. But let's get started. Tonight, we are going to review the Geelong and St Kilda matchup, the 30.1-point win there. We'll go around the grounds looking at all the games that were played this weekend. Q&A, game of the show. It's a short, sharp one tonight. There's not a huge amount on the agenda. It's been a relatively straightforward weekend of football, but I'm keen to hear your thoughts on everything that we discussed tonight. So let's begin, of course, by talking about the Geelong and... Oh, my graphics aren't working. The Geelong and... St Kilda match this weekend. As I said, the Cats winning by 31 points against the Saints. It was, I don't know. I've kind of heard from a few of you over the course of the last 24 hours or so off the back of the win. I've heard some of you in post-game live sharing your thoughts as well. There's a lot to pass through from this one. Some are a little bit more, I guess, concerned that this is not the sort of performance we want from a finals team, and I would agree with that. But I also wouldn't get too carried away by it because I'm kind of firmly of the mind that we did what needed to be done. Essentially, it was one of those games. We did what needed to be done. And sorry, I'll also project Ben's beautiful little graphic here as well, where the Cats got the job done 17-11, 113, beating the Saints 12-10, 82. For the goal kickers, Jeremy Cameron kicked 5 goals, 1. Shawnee Manor with 3-3. Paddy Dangerfield with 2-1. But we won't forget the fact that we kicked 9 straight before Paddy Dangerfield butchered an easy one. We'll keep giving him a little clip for that, the legendary captain. Graham Myers with 32. Sorry. Wow. I'm still a bit asleep, apparently. 32 disposals to Max Holmes, 26 to Graham Myers, 25 to Ollie Dempsey, whilst for the Saints. Mitch Owens with 2 goals too, as also Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller. Cooper Sharman with 2 goals, 1. 36 disposals, and I would argue best on ground to Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller. 33 disposals, Jack Sinclair, and 23 to Brad Hill. He might have gotten 23, but geez, he looked like he had aged significantly in this matchup. This was not the Brad Hill that we all knew. It seems like the end is rapidly closing for him. The speed is not there. There's a few aspects of his game that I don't think are shining too brightly on him these days. But anyway, talking about the game in a little bit more detail, and I'll keep the scores there as we go. I am pretty content with the game. I think we saw some really good aspects over the course of the match. I'm also seeing, and this is a good comment to pin to this conversation, Alex Irwin. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Where was I? Yeah, I'm not overly concerned by it. This is a team that is building towards a finals campaign. They are not playing finals football yet, and I get a little bit frustrated. And obviously, we've had some disappointing matches in recent weeks, Brisbane and GWS in particular. But this is not a team. I know 2022 was something really special, the way we kind of lit it up in the second half of the year and just bulldozed our way through. That's not normally how it goes for most teams. We are right now trying to build ourselves up to be ready when it counts in September. And we've got a month and change to be able to do that. And I'm confident that they'll get themselves into shape. I'm not saying we're going to win a flag. I'm saying we're going to arrive at September playing really good football. And of course, there's a little bit to be said and questioned about the types of matchups that we have with a lot of lower rung teams. I think the Sydney game is going to be really important because I think they are playing much better football than their 10th position on the ladder would suggest. That might be the iron sharpens iron sort of game that we need. Hopefully we get a win in the process, but hopefully it is the really competitive finals-like sort of game that we need, just to make sure that we're in a good space going into finals, because I think there's something to the fact that we are playing a few cellar dwellers. But anyway, that's a bit more of an eyes to the future sort of thing. I'll flick over to full screen here. Some talking points from the game. The Saints, it's a 26-year-long hoodoo that continues now. They cannot beat Geelong at GMHBA. 1999, as we discussed on the Thursday show of the Paul James show. 1999 was the last time they beat us at GMHBA. And I sense they won't be doing it anytime soon. Jezza has almost locked up the Coleman now. He's absolutely flying. I think it's an 11-goal lead that he holds over second place there. And I've even started to hear, it's been going on for a few weeks, but I think there's a bit more intensity starting to build here. That maybe the 100-goal season isn't out of reach. Now, it's going to require a hefty finals performance from him or some monstrous bags in the next few weeks, which is not beyond him. But that maybe the 100 isn't too far off. Jessica Coleman, as roaming has just dropped there. I am gonna come back to your comment though, Alex, because I do want to pick through your thoughts and everyone's thoughts on Tom Stewart and his knee. But couldn't pass up that one. I don't think he's not gonna get the 100. He's gonna kick 42 in 9 games. Magnus has popped in saying 88 goals inclusive of the finals. That feels like an attainable thing. And look, that's a huge effort. In the modern game, 88 in a season is a massive effort, no matter how many finals you have to play. He's averaging 3.2 a game. It's a really good, 2025 sort of performance. But let's talk about Tom Stewart here. And then I'm going to pick through the likes of Gary's thoughts here about opposition waltzing through the midfield, all those sorts of points as well. But let's get to Alex here and what he's had to say about Tom Stewart, because, of course, Chris Scott has been on AFL 360 tonight, not long before this show has gone to air. And here's what he said. Scotty said on AFL 360 that Stewie's injury was precautionary. He jarred it and they subbed him out as he's had PCL issues with that same knee in the past. And you absolutely love to hear it. That puts a lot of the fears at rest. And to be fair, the incidents that occurred beforehand, nothing looked like a hyperextension, an ACL, a PCL. Like, nothing struck me and I think most of you as well, as there's the moment where it happened. There was some blows. He kind of got banged up a little bit, but he was clearly just a little bit tender and a bit sore through the joints. And we know what Geelong's like. There's very no risk when it comes to injuries wherever possible. So I like that they did it. And what Scotty's got to say that Alex is sharing is really awesome to hear as well. So I guess that one kind of puts the whole thing to rest. Let's kind of pick through some other thoughts here. Roaming's jumped in and says the umpires were crap. They absolutely were. I'd mentioned that in my reaction video, which is now live on the YouTube channel for people to go check out. Please, if you're looking for more extensive thoughts on the Geelong and St Kilda matchup, that's where you'll want to be. But at the same time, they were pretty shit across the board. Like, the standard of umpiring is absolutely awful. And it's, we've got ourselves some new leadership there at the AFL. I think it's got to be one of the highest priority items for them to look into. He's doubled down on the umps of crap as well. That's a secondary comment there. And a third one. Oh, look at him go. Not missing a beat, roaming. Gary has mentioned, he thinks that we allow the opposition to just waltz through our midfield unhindered too often. You're not necessarily wrong. It is a byproduct, I think, of the way we want to play. We are so aggressive these days. And maybe there's something to be said to just dial it back just a smidge. But we are so, surge forward mentality and so aggressive at times that when we turn the ball over, as any team does, the best teams still turn the ball over from time to time. we leave ourselves incredibly vulnerable going the other way. And it is almost a procession going up the other end of the ground, especially if the opposition team can kick. If they can kick their way through it, they're excellent. So, and they're home as hosed in a lot of scenarios. So, I feel like I saw some different things. And please, Gary and anyone else, I would suggest people go check out Post-Game Live. I made a brief cameo last night and kind of shared my thoughts there. But also in the reaction video that went live earlier this morning, I kind of spoke about how Geelong looked to be playing. It looked like they were experimenting a little bit with a more handball-focused game at different points in the game, certainly to kind of address the St Kilda momentum. And that could be something that we draw upon a little bit, because when teams have kicked piles of goals on us, that's been a real problem. And they've kind of cut us straight through. It's not because we've failed to execute, that we've just completely dropped the ball. It's that we've failed to execute sometimes, and then there's been a bit of a chain of these, and the opposition teams have piled it on. I'm kind of the mind that handball game that we were looking to play on the weekend after St Kilda got one, and then there was 3 occasions where they kicked 2 consecutive goals over the course of the game, and then Geelong would get back. And I think it was, I'd have to go rewatch it to make sure, but I feel like in those moments I was seeing a lot more handball as Geelong looked to chain the ball through with handball, just kind of break up the momentum, change this the way the game was being played, and I liked it, and it worked. And there's more that can be done with that. I think they need to build upon that model a little bit, but it was an interesting thing to watch. I'm keen to see how it develops this weekend. Shadu, I presume in relation to the Jeremy Cameron thing, 10 this weekend against North, please. And look, they're pretty depleted. So there's a decent chance. Amy's popped in, I think, for the first time of the night. As of when I saw this comment, people keep mentioning our soft fixture, but seem to forget that the Swans and Port finished 1 and 2 last year. They, of course, haven't been playing like those teams. You're right. The quality is on the list, and you can never dismiss them, especially the Swans, who are, like I've said, playing top 8 football at the moment. It's just that probably the mountain they've got to climb is too big at this stage, you would imagine. But they haven't been those teams this year. And that's, I think, the reality of it. So roaming here in relation to Tom Stewart. I feel like he had a bad start to the season, but he had his best game. Has just recently had his best game for the season. He did. Yeah, he's started to the words aren't flying at the moment. Flashard. If you weren't there at the very, very beginning, I nearly missed the show. Nearly just slept through the entire show. Was putting my daughter to bed. She's still young enough that we kind of have to lay down alongside her and help her go to sleep. And I fell asleep in her bed and nearly missed the show entirely. So the words just aren't flowing as cleanly and clearly as they perhaps normally would. So I'm sure some blows and other phrases like it will disappear from the vernacular shortly. Is Tommy's injury officially an old man injury? No, it was a precautionary one, as thankfully Alex was able to share with us before. My nan said to me that she'd not recognise any of the umpires. Good. As far as I'm concerned, good. We don't want to know who they are. And I mean this in the nice way. But the game's not about them. The less we know, the better. There's always exceptions. Razor Ray Chamberlain, for example. And we got a lot of love for Razor here. He's been on behind the play and done an awesome job over the years. There's always a few exceptions, but for the most part, seen and not heard. It seems like the umpiring gets worse every time we talk about it. It's a massive problem in the industry at the moment. Gary says, though, it's not the umpires, it's the rules. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because there are some painful rules. There's some painful adjudication going on, and there's, when it comes to the umpiring specifically, some horrific inconsistency going on. And we saw that across several different games this weekend. What do you think about Kingy's feedback about Stewie not being aggressive enough? I felt he was more aggressive on the weekend. He was. No, I think he's... I feel like the thing that... I don't know how much Tom Stewart or others within the club also listened to the outside noise, but if there was one thing that I reckon would have gotten under Tom Stewart's skin, it was when the stat got kind of parroted that he was not in the top, I think it was like 200 for intercept possessions this year. And of course, that is because he's been injured. I think his average per game probably has him in the top 200 or whatever. But he's had such an interrupted season. He's not been there. So We saw a lot of that on the weekend, and I feel like we've been seeing more and more of it in the last few weeks. I think that Tom Stewart is actually building now quite nicely towards the back end of the season. I think I saw Kiri in the Discord during the game, kind of, almost. I think at one point he described him as being washed. I cannot buy into that kind of line of thinking. Not even close. He's just had a very interrupted year, and that takes a toll on you. Magnus says it's the interpretation in the MRO and the fear of lawsuits and prize players. Shadu references the experiments, Lawson on the wing, Martin forward, and a few others. I don't think Martin is much of an experiment now, but it's working quite nicely, especially early on in that game. Let's keep scrolling. Paul didn't go on the weekend as he wasn't able to secure a corporate suite. He won't budge on that. Yep. Let's go with it. King said on first crack that he saw an increased dare from Stewie played with and gave him credit where credit was due. I mean, good, but David King, I mean, how much do we want to take Kingy seriously half the time? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Amy. Thank you for clarifying. I'm playing catch up on all the comments here. Quickly scrolling through the rest of the comments. Tom was a brick wall. He was fantastic. I think he was absolutely fantastic. I think Tom's injury is serious and needs an operation, but he's such a warrior. He tries to play through it. I mean, there is probably a postseason op that's coming his way, but I don't think it's the sort that's actually and that's to get him to 100%. But I think he's, very comfortably operating at 90% fitness, and but when he gets a knock, it's a bit more serious, a bit more of a scare. And Gary's right. Why didn't he get 50 meters after he got tackled after marking? Yeah, I think that was absolutely ridiculous. David King is enough after all. 100%. He's got that award from me in the past. All right, let's get to some of the coaches' votes here. Oh, this stupid platform. There we go. As I mentioned before, Nasiah Wanganeen Miller deemed the best player on the field. He got the 9. So someone, presumably Chris Scott, I don't know, didn't give him the 5 in this particular matchup. I would argue, without doubt, he was the best player on the field. But Max Holmes with 7, Sean Manor with 6, Jeremy Cameron with 5, Oisin Mullen with his first coaches' votes of the season with 2, and Ollie Dempsey getting 1 there. As I mentioned in the reaction video, there was a bit of the team effort feel. I do feel like it was, 50% of the team doing a little bit more lifting than perhaps normal. It wasn't 100% the team effort, but I think it was pretty consistent effort from all players across the board. So, you love to see it. The run home, we've of course spoken a little bit about this. Amy was kind of alluding to the final games in the season for us. We, of course, have North Melbourne next week. Then we've got, I think it's in order, Port Adelaide, Sydney, and then the Tigers to wrap up the season. No, I'm missing a game in the middle there. North, Port Adelaide, then there's a game in the middle before Sydney. Essendon, of course. Essendon, then Sydney, and Richmond to wrap up the season. Gary says that you think Mullen did a great job on Higgins. I think this was a fantastic performance. I know Higgins still got 2, but I know Jake from the Chaps cannot stand Higgins. He's still a pretty good footballer. So, and I'm sure Jake is of that same mind as well. He's a pretty good footballer. So yeah, it's for Mullen to keep him to 2, I think was a really good effort. I think, Essendon are bombing out. Between Essendon, Richmond, and North, that could be where Jezza kicks, 25 of the remaining 42 goals he needs. The 42? The 42? How many does he need? AFL stats, I'm sure he's on 58, right? Yeah, he's on 58. So he needs 42 for the season. He could get 25 of those across those 3 games. That'd be great. I'll buy into that. 8, and 9. And he did get a couple cheapies. One of them, I think it was just a really genuinely good crumbing effort, and it's very hard to stop. The other one was a cheapie. You're right. All right, that is the Geelong and... Oh, sorry, I've got multiple things on the go here. There we go. That is the Geelong and Where are all my notes? What's going on? That is the Geelong and St Kilda game done. Oh, Lord Flashheart jumps in. Did anyone else notice Myers' lack of tackling? If he's going to play in the mid, he needs to stop being a pussy. Yeah, I think like he's tackling pressure if he's going to be a midfielder, his tackling pressure needs to be more intense. I would agree with that. I don't think he's quote unquote, being a pussy, but at the same time, there's a greater level of intensity there, and like a hunger to like take out the body that is required. I would agree in that sense, but maybe not to the same level. All right, let's go around the grounds here and look at all of the other matches from this weekend. It's an interesting old round. It was not the round for me when it came to footy tipping, that's for sure. That's absolutely, oh no, it's absolutely devastated my chance of winning my work footy league, I think. Thanks to Saturday night in particular. It began, though, the Giants smacking the Bombers around pretty much as expected. 48 points was the margin there. Brisbane beating the Dogs to the tune of 10 points. Oh, now I'm sick as well. This is great. You love it. Absolutely love to see it. Hawthorn beating the Power in Launceston now have they've won every game they've played in Launceston for the last 2 years. Sydney beating North, not by enough as far as I'm concerned for a team that is kind of playing that top 8 football, but they got the job done. And here's my footy tipping completely destroyed in this block of 2 matches. I went Melbourne and I went West Coast. And I went from looking to have some space at second on in my work footy tipping ladder to fourth, and now 1 tip behind third and another 2 back off where I was looking to be. I'm absolutely shattered by how that's worked out, especially because I run the competition. So it would have been, and I've already collected all the money. So it would have been nice to just Barack Obama style put the medal on my own neck and take my money and leave. But anyway, all right, Horatio, jam it. If I'd have even gotten one of them, if Melbourne had come through for me, I would have been fine. Not to be. Anyway, Richmond smacked the Eagles. I was shocked. Like, not that I was a bit wobbly about this matchup, but I was not expecting this sort of margin. Were my kids at school today? My son he's at a Catholic primary school, so they still had the first day away. My daughter was at kinder though. And I was back to work in my scummy public school system. The Discord is popping up and it keeps getting in my way. Jake, if you're watching this, stop it. Yeah, push notifications keep getting in my clicking way. But onto the Sunday games. We've, of course, already spoken about the Cats winning by 31 points against the Saints. The huge boil over. The Dockers beating the Pies. The Pies had their chance to win it and just blew it. And then this was... I tipped the Crows. I didn't expect... how many goals in a row was it? I say, not the scummy, just taking the piss. I love... Jackie's blaming herself. There is a lot going on in the Discord right now, and it's good. But Jake has just popped up. Without looking, who leads us for 1%ers? I don't know, Jake. Stop interrupting my show, damn it. Jackie, feel free to tell me I'm bitching about him in the stream right now. It's his fault. He's ruining my show. But how many goals in a row was it? Was it 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? I was floored by this. Like, to be so listless. Dimmer described as even the best teams need that kick in the nuts. No, this was something else. But also, and I I've been struggling to come up with a Nuff recipient for this week. We will have a video for Nuff tomorrow, and it's going to go to a certain key defender who just can't help but be a dickhead, and a very highly rated key defender from the Gold Coast Suns that's going to cop Nuff for the week this week because I'm a bit over his ridiculous behaviour. All right. Congratulations to Carlton's Ashton Moyer for winning the Rising Star this week. It's about time Carlton won something. They win a game, and look, they get themselves a Rising Star nomination. Doesn't take much to get one of those. You just have to win. So congratulations to him. When it comes to the VFL this weekend, the Cats, big wowzers. Lord Flashheart. I'm not even going to pin the comment. No, I wasn't. But geez, he needs to pull his head in. Yes, Big Mac is going to be the Nuff of the week this week. Now I'm seeing Jake in the Discord. What are we? Paul was besmirching. Now I'm taking a look. Jackie. Paul was besmirching your name in his show. If he gets clicks, that's fine. He's trying to do his show in the Discord. Chat is distracting him. Mute notifications. I'm going to... There we go. So I thought the Cats had this game in the VFL in the bag. I thought the game was signed and sealed. But the Pies stormed over the top, won by 15 points. Ollie Henry with 2 goals is obviously an important note for us, but there was a lot of other really good players out in the field. I've seen several of you. It's not even the tab. It's the Discord app on my computer. It's just pinging constantly. Ted Closey, 31 disposals, 7 clearances, 6 tackles. And of course, we were talking about big Toby Conway before, he's back and he put in a really good first up performance. So love to see it as he continues to build to what will likely be a 2026 campaign for him now. Let's just put him in cotton wool. We can't have him getting injured. Let's not have anything dumb happen at home. Just cotton wool, put him in a bubble. Make him a bubble boy for the off season. And then we roll him out for footy next year, and who knows what he could be. Jackie, I can see you in the comments. I haven't turned off notifications. I can't. Well, right midway through the show, it's not too fiddly right now. In the VFLW, the Pies also beat the Cats 35 points there, and that's the season at a close now. The AFLW, of course, very excitingly, is now super close. Geelong and Gold Coast kicking the season off Saturday, 2nd of August at 8 p.m. at People First Stadium. So our first game is an away game, but very much looking forward to seeing the girls in action this year. As I'm sure many of you are, firmly of the mind that this is a team that could go all the way. We just need a few things to click into place, but this is a team that can go all the way, and I'm very, very much looking forward to the prospect of the girls winning a flag this year. Hopefully it can work out for us. Now, the ladder. Let's quickly take a look at the ladder and how it stands at the moment. Don't know why it's not working. We are, of course, in a tricky spot at the moment. Especially with some of these upset wins, like where Freo's won on the weekend. Just the gap between us and some of the opposition hasn't formed. I mean, look at this. And I know Gold Coast was shithouse on the weekend, but they've got an extra win up their sleeves with Essendon. So there are 5 teams sitting equal 4th right now. 4th through to 8th. One slip up. One slip up is all it takes to leave us quite vulnerable with the Dogs still. I know Dogs are technically, in my mind, 2 games away. And you almost could say that they're done. But they're not 100% out of it. And they are a dangerous team. And they can get hot. And it doesn't take much. So we need to be on the ball. We need to continue to win. We need to play some really good football, and hopefully we can still stitch up that top 4 spot. Hopefully we go without a loss for the rest of the season. Our percentage being what it is right now should carry us the journey from there. Fingers crossed. All right, before we go any further, before we get into your Q&A, we are motoring through the show tonight. We are going to take a word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get into your Q&A. Let us know what you've got, chat. Ben has provided me a whole host of conversation starters here. Some question cues to be aid. But, of course, if you've got other points of conversation, please let me know. Aaron jumps in and says, Collingwood, Brisbane, Adelaide, Hawthorn all play each other. Top spot still alive if we run the table. Absolutely. I mean, I talk about, obviously, the risks there with the Dogs at 8th, but also with Collingwood's 2 consecutive losses and the great tug of war that is going on between these teams. There is a distinct possibility that we could just Stephen Bradbury our way into the top spot on the ladder. Oh, there we go. Gary's doing us an almighty favor there. Come on, Hoopers, give Paul some thumbs up yet. Please make sure, if you haven't already, drop a like in the chat. Blakey's popped in as well. Good to hear from you, mate. As always. Make sure to go check out Blake's content on YouTube as well. Does an awesome job. Yeah, it's a tricky spot. And actually, Blakey, let me know. Do you think can your doggies make the finals? You're essentially 2 games out because Gold Coast have got an extra win up their sleeves against the Bombers. Can the Dogs make it? Who is the team that falls out to allow your doggies back in? That's probably just as complex as everything else right now. Who would be the team? No, we're going with flat track bullies. I mean, good play on words, but look, I do think you're done. I think our top 8 is the top 8 now, but it's a risky business, this football, and with a lot of the top 8 playing each other, it does create opportunities for you guys. You've just got to win. Gary thinks that Gold Coast is the vulnerable one. Again, I think they've got that extra game up their sleeves. I don't think so, personally, but I do understand the logic around the whole thing. Shadu says, Ollie Henry isn't coming back to the AFL this year. Jack Martin is out. Ollie Henry. At the moment, yeah, I don't see Ollie coming back. But we'll see. Dogs have got percentage on their side, but they are 2 wins in arrears, essentially. So that's the big challenge for them. If not us, I think the Suns with the extra game is more of a mental battle. Yeah. G'day, Wayne. First time popping in. I don't know if you've just discovered the channel for the first time or not, but welcome aboard. Keen to have you here. Let me know all your thoughts on all things Cats. We are just getting to our Q&A section of the show. If you've only just tuned in now, we've gone through the match review for Geelong and St Kilda. We've gone through the rest of the round, and please don't hesitate, Wayne, to go check out all that stuff later on if you'd like. But if you've got some questions, all things footy, all things Geelong, please throw them in the chat so that we can talk all about it. Flash is doing so just now. What percentage chance do we have beating Brisbane up there in a final? I know we've lost our last few against Brisbane. What's the last 3 now? The prelim and then the 2 games this year. I am not as worried about the... Hi, Renee. Awesome to see you popping in as well. I don't have any major concerns about Brisbane. We got out-coached when we played them most recently. And then it was a bit of an execution and arm wrestle thing when we played them earlier in the year. And obviously the prelim was the prelim. We had that game in the bag, like a few teams did against Brisbane over the final series, and just blew it. The stars just aligned for them. It was one of those series. It was very, for Blakey here in the chat, it was very Bulldogs 2016, where just all the stars aligned, everything fell their way, and they just surged through to win a flag, and good on them. But it means I'm not I think it's just a coin toss. I think it's 50-50 if we were to play them there. I don't know if they're the team we're going to play at this point. It feels like Cats and the Pies is probably the matchup right now, which is terrifying. But yeah, Flash, I think it's 50-50. Blakey also jumps in and says, is Danger playing again next year? Yeah, I think so. If if we win a flag, if we are fortunate enough to win the flag, then I think Paddy Dangerfield rides off into the sunset. I think he gets his, so many captains have done it for us recently. Joel Selwood won the flag, retired. Cameron Ling won the flag, retired. Tom Harley won the flag, retired. It's been a bit of a thing recently. So I am of the mind that if we win the flag, if we were to get up, then he might be done. Which would be, it's that nice romance, like footy romance story, and I like it. But if we don't, no, I think he'll go around again. I think next year might be the last if that's the case, but I think he'd go around one more time. Oh, geez, we might not even get to Ben's little conversation starters. This is there's some nice questions popping up at the moment. Magnus asks, could you rank the teams you would least like to face in the prelim and the grand final? All right. Let me make sure I bring up the ladder and just don't miss anyone. So, but forgetting ladder position, we'll just look at who the teams are and where they're placed on the ladder right now. Sorry, not where they're placed, just who am I most fearful of. Right now, the team I fear the most of all teams in the top 8 is GWS. GWS is the team that I'm most worried about because they are the team that has the wood on us. They are the team that when it comes to their midfield, they've got inside, they've got outside, and then they've got these two big blokes, Jeremy Cameron. What's his name? Aaron Cadman and Jesse Hogan there as big key forward options that are menacing. Sam Taylor's going to be coming back for key defense. They're the team that I'm most worried about if we have to play them at any knockout stage of the finals. They're the team that worries me the most. Beyond that, I would say, and I'm just having to look at the top 8 again. So we've got GWS. I think I'll say Collingwood next. Brisbane, Adelaide, Fremantle, Gold Coast, and then Hawthorn. Hawthorn being the team I'm least concerned. I mean, the Geelong supporter fears will kick into overdrive, but in terms of, just look at the football they're playing, I go, they're the team I'm most confident against right now. But then there's the theatre that always seems to transpire between these two teams, the way both teams get up for a matchup against one another, that sets my heart into overdrive in a really terrifying kind of way. Blakey also says that he's thinks the Crom are the dark horse for the cup. Absolutely, I think they are the smoky right now. If Danger can save someone out in the surf, he can play another year. Did he go save someone in the surf recently? That's awesome. And he does have a contract. You're right, Amy, but I think if he wins though, like if we were to win the flag, I think he tears up and he bounces. Flash says first round of finals, GWS, Lions, and Pies, prelim, Lions and Pies, grand final, nobody. Wayne popped in. Awesome to hear from you again. Who are the players that you think can come into the team? It is I think what we had on the weekend is pretty close to our 23. Ben, that's Wade Wilson, you dumb fuck. Wade Wilson is Deadpool. Wayne Wilson is this legend here. Who can come into the team? I mean, Ollie Henry's going to continue to be a smoky. Mitch Duncan has continued to get, the depth that we've got is crazy. Flash, have I seen? Yeah, I think hang on. Roaming is my big supporter here. We are, of course, missing Jed Buse. Jed Buse is the one for me, and that we need above all others for the. And don't get me wrong, Osh did a great job on the weekend, but he's the one that I want for your Jack Higgins-like players. We won't have to contend with Jack Higgins, but your Jack Higgins-like players, your Charlie Camerons, your Toby Greens, all those guys. Jed Buse is the man. He's the man. And he showed that when he came into the team late last season. And he's shown it when he's played in the seniors this year. And I just want Jed Bewes in the team. Hashtag justice for Jed. I haven't seen roaming in a little while in the chat, but I'm hoping he sees this. Justice for Jed is our shtick. All right, where are we? So that was Wayne. Don't think I ever want to play Hawthorn in a grand final again, says Amy. Agreed. Blakey says, I think Crom get to a prelim, maybe the grand final this year. I think the Crows could get to a prelim, and if by some chance they happen to turn that into our home prelim, then yeah, I could see the grand final. Aaron says, some Cats fans in my section on Sunday suggested COVID was rife within the club during our bye. Does this explain the dismal performance versus GWS? I mean, that would be a factor, but I don't want it. It absolutely has to be a factor. If that's true, whether it's COVID, the flu, whatever, it's absolutely going to be a factor, but not an excuse at the same time. Ra says, moronic, they're getting the best player back this week. Now I don't know who we're referring to. Which team are we referring to? Sorry, there's been so many comments recently. Oh, hang on. Now I'm seeing another Ra comment. Funny, the people who chat the most about Hawthorn are always the clubs that lose to them in big games and finals. You're obviously a Hawthorn supporter. And I assume, does that mean Will Day is back this week? I'd imagine we're talking about Will Day. You're referring to Will Day? I don't know. I just, the football they're playing right now, and this is not the usual sort of bullshit that you can get between Geelong and Hawthorn supporters. I throw a lot of that out there, but this is a very sincere one. I just don't like the football they're playing at the moment. And it doesn't look like they've got quite a few players who are just seemingly well out of form. They've got others who are playing blinding good football. Jack Gunston's wound back the clock wonderfully well. But I'm not crazy about the football they're playing. I don't think it's going to hold up in the finals. So we'll see. Blakey says, who gets Charlie from here? I don't like to say it, but it's probably Nick Dacos. Why do we need someone to come into the team? Obviously, the best 23 thing. I mean, we don't necessarily. I think that was pretty close to the 23 this weekend, but to then Horacio's point, Jed Bewes. Stewie should be rested this week, maybe for a couple of weeks, and bring in Jed. Agreed. For Mullen, who's out. Yeah, no, that's the thing that's driving me wild about this. Like, I need to, let me look at the lineup from this weekend. Who would I drop? I guess, or even who are the vulnerable ones? The vulnerable players in that 23, in terms of those who are the bottom six, I would say. Oh, geez, this is, I really put myself in it. I don't think there is a bottom six, but I'll try and work out who'd be bottom of the pecking order, I guess. Jack Martin is part of that bottom six, but he's playing really good football. He's hard to nudge out. Oisin Mullen would be that bottom six. Same deal. Can't see a reason why you'd push him out, but he would belong there. Oh, dear Lord. How do I work this out? Sam De Koning's probably bottom six at the moment, but Jack Bowes, that's 4. I've just committed to 6, and I struggled to get to 4. Maybe Connor O'Sullivan because of his inexperience, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I'm stumped. Mark O'Connor, probably the final one, but he's been playing some of the best football of his career recently. There he is. He made a typo. He's corrected himself with a subsequent comment, but justice for Jed. There he is. Love to see it. We want Jed Bewes back poster at the game. Oh, did you? Nice. Magnus says, bold call, Brisbane make 3 grand finals in a row. You could see it. Thomas does talk about danger being signed for next year. He is. Again, and if we don't win, he absolutely continues on. I just think that if we were to happen to win the flag, I think he just low-key rips that one up and goes, yeah, I'm done. Goes out on the greatest of highs. Gary says, Paddy, Mitch, Reese, and Tom. Tom, Stewart? Tom, surely you don't mean Tom Stewart. Who? They'll pull the pin. You can't be talking about Tom Stewart. No. Old Membry owns you. Good to see Tim Membry and Shannon Neal both got rested. Yeah, they didn't do much on the weekend. Quiet weekend. Could be Hawthorn with, yeah, I'd imagine that's what we're talking about. Kick him out, piss and shit. We're jumping on old mate Ra now, but I assume Ra is a Hawthorn supporter, and that's fine. He wasn't being too obnoxious in there. I don't like Hockball. I don't think they're playing great football. Blakey agrees. Take the plane. I did like how Jack Ginnivan handled that on the weekend. It was subtle, wasn't obnoxious, but he did need to clap back. I think it was very classily done actually from him. They haven't really hit their straps. I assume we're still talking about the Hawthorn Footy Club, given the comments prior. They haven't, but I just don't think their football holds up. Flash says the only retirees that you see is Mitch. Would be an excellent assistant coach. He's apparently getting a lot of offers for that. Cam Guthrie would be an excellent assistant coach too, but at Geelong, who knows? JL's popped in. Would you prefer a Pies and Cats prelim or qualifying? By the way, how was your first day back at work? Being a fellow DET worker, the Sunday nights before returning is a bitch. So let's deal with the football part before we get to the education system and going back to work. Would I prefer a Cats and Pies prelim or qualifying? I did have the Pies second on that list. So I would rather play them in the qualifying final so that if we blow it, we can bounce back and we potentially then don't have to deal with them again until a grand final. Well, not potentially. The only way we could play them again would be a grand final. So I would rather deal with them in the qualifying, get that out of the way. And then, yeah. As for being a DET worker, first day back at work today for the new semester. Already counting down the 9-week term that we've got this term. I'm relieved that for some reason this is a short one this year. We've had some longer terms earlier in the year. I'm relieved this one's short because my head is not in it. I think I've already expended too many petrol tickets and the term only just started today. So Ian says, I thought Paul said, I thought the Cats VFL had the game in the bag. I don't quite know what you're getting at with the comment, outside of the fact that you're repeating it. Copying and pasting your own message too, I see. But anyway, whatever suits you. I did. I thought, they were, playing really good football up to 3/4 time, and then it just got away from them. So it is what it is. Lucas has popped in. Nick Rewalt said Blitz should be up forward next to Cameron and let Neil be in the ruck. I agree with that take. I don't, but I like the idea of Blitz going down there because it eases the pressure on Neil. It eases the pressure on Jeremy Cameron. Not because Mark Blitzars is some gun forward that firstly, it's nice to see Blitz go play a forward line role because it's about the only position he hasn't taken on so far properly. But just because you can't ignore him, and he's tall and athletic, so he's going to keep them busy. So I think that's a really fascinating magnet shuffle that we saw on the weekend, and I'm keen to see how it plays out. I don't know, Ben, I know you're still watching the moment. I don't know if I'll even get to all of your conversation starters tonight because the chat is pumping right now. You're giving me a lot to work with, everyone. Thank you very much. Interesting about Neil. I thought when we drafted him, he was a ruckman. I think we drafted him as a forward. But he's got the height that he can kind of be a bit versatile. JL's back to talk about the Pies and Cats qualifying. Maybe you just doubled out. Oh no, you've just posted it twice. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry. Horatio says, if those guys are your bottom six, you're going all right. I know, right? It's a pretty good problem to have. Gary says he was talking about Tom Stewart retiring. That is insane talk to me. I like it, but that seems like crazy talk. We're seeing lots of new faces in the chat tonight. This is awesome. Glad to hear from all of you. Darcy Wilson's just popped in, saying first time here. Great to have you on board. Keen to hear your thoughts. Please use the chat as I start to gradually catch up on those. Use the chat, share your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts about the Cats and the broader season. Who else have we got here? Josh. Anyway, I won't repeat that. My friend got me a corporate box for the game against North this weekend. Very excited. First time for me. I think first time I've seen you in the chat as well. So awesome to have you on board. And yeah, corporate box live. Ben says I do it all the time. I don't. I still haven't done a corporate box before, and I'd very much like to. I am mates with Ross Simmons, the head of Big Ant Studios, who's a big sponsor of Carlton and does get corporate boxes all the time. And I do want to chat to him next time we play the Blues and get myself a corporate box gig. Just join him for the day. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Because I haven't done it yet. It is something I'd like to experience at some stage. Where have we got? Sarah Robinson here. Any thoughts on Atkins' reaction to the Bailey Tinder questions? I feel like he mightn't like him much. No, I just don't think I think it was great. No, I just think he genuinely does not care. It's all marketing. It's all dollar stuff. I don't think Bailey Smith in his heart of hearts is going to Tinder looking for love. He's going to Tinder because there's a sponsorship opportunity and there's money in it for him. And I don't blame him. He's a very marketable individual. And sure, he might go on a few dates and I won't make any further inappropriate comments, but he might go on dates and have a good time. But I don't think I'd be surprised if something substantial comes from it, because everyone who goes there probably knows full well who he is and is in it for the wrong reasons. I don't know. Lucas's mum's popped in. Hi, everyone. Geelong in the MCG qualifying final. I think that's the way it's headed. And I would much rather, as I said before, to JL's question, would much rather deal with them in a qualifying than a knockout final. Ian says, the Cats VFL demonstrated over the last few weeks that the game is never in the bag. They constantly conceded good leads. I would be nervous if they were up by 10 goals at three-quarter time. Thank you now for expanding on what you're talking about before. That is a reasonable point. But they've been, they're a youthful team. There's some tricks and challenges there. TDK might have to stay after all. Saints have offered 1.7 to Wanganeen Miller. Might get him cheap if he wants to leave Clayton. If he wants to leave Clayton. I think they've got these big bags for both. They've been cashed up for years. They've been offering this money to anyone and everyone, and no one's taken it. Now they get someone to do it, and they want to keep Naz. They've got 3.4 there to make it work, I think. Gary, Cats and Pies qualifying. Roaming's Mitch needs to go. I'm trying to burn through these a little bit quicker now. Outside of day, that midfield will crumble. Lucas says Harley Reid's manager wants 1.5 for 10 years for Harley. Essendon are out. Hawks and Richmond interested. West Coast wasn't interested. Now seems interested. I didn't get terms when I worked, mate. I know. I'm not woe as being it. Joshy is back saying, I'd rather Pies just lose and we don't face them unless they end up on a downward slope based on the last two games heading into September. I don't want to get too carried away on the Pies' recent two games, but I do follow what you mean. Cat's next captain. I doubt he'd take it, but Tom Atkins personifies everything about what a leader should be. You are 100% right, but in every respect there, I don't think he would want the title and all the media stuff that goes with it. But who would it be if it's not him? Does Tom Stewart do it for a year or two? Do we see a Max Holmes step up nice and early? I'm trying to think of someone else who might potentially take it. It could be Max Holmes. Roaming says, Mark Blitz is very underrated in the forward line. Gary responds saying that Blitz and Paddy can't kick straight, mate. Paddy's had a couple wobbly ones recently, but he's been kicking pretty well this season. Mark Blitz, I do get worried when he's in front of the sticks, but he does kick the goal more often than not. It's just a very awkward technique. Lots of new names tonight. Feel free. Yes, Shadoo's done a high quality job there. Please, if you're enjoying this show, you like the chat, you want to interact more and more, please don't hesitate to visit the link here that Shadoo's posted for our Discord. The chat has been popping off in the Discord over the course of this show as well. It's been really problematic. Jake, won't forget if you're still watching. But please, consider joining the Discord. The conversation continues well beyond the boundaries of this show. I'm scrolling a little bit faster now. I'd be rapt to get Nasai, Wanganeen, Miller in our midfield, all class, 100%. Those sorts of players don't come up very often. He's brilliant. Flash says, have we already played our best game this year? Tactically, does Scotty have something up his sleeve? Oh, there we go. And Joshy's just joined. Awesome to have you. Look forward to chatting to you in the Discord nice and soon. Have we played our best game this year? I mean, we've played our best football this year. We saw it against the early in the year against the Pies and some of the other top 8 teams in that first block of the season. I think we're just building back up now to the real deal at the end of the season. There's a bit of a climb that's required. There's a bit of a slow build that we need to go through to get to the real pointy end again. And I think we're making the right steps forward. We are seeing, I don't know, obviously the Tom Stewart thing on the weekend was unfortunate, but we're seeing him start to find that form. Blakey's right. He's going to Tinder because they're sliding a juicy check. 100%. Take the bag. Bailey Sniff. I'm scrolling to speed up a little bit now. Baz doesn't mind a good troll either. Yeah, he's probably taking the piss a little bit out of this. Gary, you've been beating the drum for this one for a little while. Don't recruit any more bloody midfielders. I don't agree with you. Ben, would you swipe right for Tom Atkins? Not me personally. Magnus asks, could you make your own top 25 players in the comp? Maybe that's something I'll do for the pre-finals bye week. I like that idea. Top 25 in the comp. I think, yeah. And in a separate video, I think that's something I might do in the week off. Where are we? Any review for the new rugby game that come out? See people really giving bad reviews. Seeing the trailer didn't look that good. So I mentioned before, Ross, Big Ant Studios. He's a mate of mine. His team developed AFL 26. They also developed the new the new rugby league game. And I have heard it's a bit of a turd, but to his great credit, and this is something that we see quite a lot in the video game industry, that if the team recognizes, hey, we've got a turd, they don't send it out to press. To Ross is great because they just want to try and bury as much of the conversation as much as they can. Ross didn't do that. I hit him up on a DM and just said, hey, mate, we're looking to cover it. Any chance you're able to help me out? He sent me a code for PS5. It included a whole bunch of the in-game currency. I forwarded it on to our editor, he's a real rugby league man. His dad played NRL at the top level. He's all over it, understands the game incredibly well. And he's hard at work on it at the moment, but he has made sure to be crystal clear that it is shithouse. And pointed out that a whole bunch of NRL players are also dunking on it quite publicly at the moment as well. So, Lucas, I'll make sure to share a link to the NRL or the rugby league game once it drops, once the review drops. Atkins wants to say out of the media, yeah, that's fine. I like it. Max Holmes, their captain with Tom Atkins. Connor O'Sullivan will be a future captain. Mark it down. There's a note. Aiden's dropped in saying Matty Lloyd doesn't think he will win the flag, which hurt to hear. JD's just joined as well in the Discord. That's awesome. Thomas says I'll be keen from Holmes to Captain Lawson. Lawson Vice. I'm almost caught up. Glenn says, while we're talking about blitz, can someone tell him he doesn't always need to hand pass off after a mark? Yeah, but when he gets it in the hands of Jeremy Cameron like on the weekend, it's fine. Wayne's loving the live chat. I'm loving the live chat as well. It's been really, really active tonight. This is awesome. I love all of you. Thank you all for contributing to the show. Ben gave me a whole bunch of conversation points for tonight to riff on. And I mean, I'll check in before we leave, but I feel like so much of the conversation's been covered already and you're all absolutely crushing it. I haven't even done game of the show yet. Which, for anyone who's new, because again, the background probably tells you all you need to know. I'm a big video game person. I'm a video games media person. And I kind of wedge a little bit of that into every single show, just highlighting one video game that should be on people's radar. So that'll have to come before the show is done as well. Darcy says, do you think this will be dangerous last year? I kind of addressed that one before. I think that if we were to win so he does, as I think Jackie said before, Amy said before. Sorry, I've lost track of who said it, but he does have a contract for next year. But I do think that if we were to go on and win the flag, I think he rips it up and rides off into the sunset and starts enjoying his media life. JL says, what do you think the catalyst behind Geelong's success over the past 20 years? The heartache of the 05 semi? In part, I actually think it was the crushing disappointment of 2006. And then it's so well documented, that leading teams meeting. And I know leading teams hasn't worked for others. There's been a lot of reports of these sorts of programs not necessarily working, but for whatever reason, it worked for the Geelong Football Club, or it came along at just the right time. And then you pair that with the right people, the right leadership, from Frank Costa to Brian Cook to Mark Thompson, Tom Harley as the captain. Everyone was in alignment. You then had this legendary figure, Stephen Wells, in the recruiting, who so often gets forgotten. Because we all focus on the on-field and the very visible people. But behind the scenes, Stephen Wells has built this list time and time again. And then we've done, then the likes of Andrew Mackey have come along and done a great job with some of that external recruitment, bringing players in from other clubs to keep us relevant, to keep us topped up. It has been huge. They've understood how the game works to a level that no other club has. And they've been able to stay relevant and seriously relevant every single year since that point. It's been crazy. And it's such a blessing. 05 hurt. 05 absolutely hurt. But I think everyone felt, okay, but they'll be back. And 06 could be the year. And then we blew it. And they had to, they had to get a smack between the eyes. They had to have some hard truths delivered their way, have some really difficult conversations. They did. And look what happened. Gary says, and I love it, there's 30 Hoopers out there who haven't pressed the thumbs up button. Please drop a like on this video. If you're new to the Hoops crew, if you're checking this video out for the first time, as well as subscribing, please drop a like on this video. Get the word out there about all that we are doing. It's been absolutely awesome. Darcy, has he signed for another year? Are we talking about Danger now? I lost track of who asked the question. I think we're talking about Danger, but yeah, one more year. I think blowing 2006 was more of a catalyst, Jay. Oh, yeah, sorry, because I'm still playing catch. Oh, my God, the comments. You guys are crazy tonight. Ben highlights it very well. How many questions will Paul answer tonight? He's on record pace. I won't have a voice left when we get back. Un-Australian not to like this show, especially when Paul's hosting. Sorry, Ben. Hi, Lucas's mum. If we recruit more mids, what do we tell Closey, Nevitt, Stevens, Bowes? Do we say thanks, but no thanks? No. Because some of these guys are still going to, I know when we have these conversations, and I keep talking about Butters and Reed of kind of being the ones that for one, that pairing of players, when we're talking about, all the reports being about the Cats having this war chest that's going to allow us to get two players. And I keep coming to those two. I keep coming to those two because I see Butters as the midfielder and I see Reed as the Dusty style forward pocket, half forward flanker that will go into the midfield from time to time, but is super dynamic in that realm. And I think when you only have one of those two coming in, you've of course got Holmes, you've of course got Smith, you've got Dempsey on the wing, but Blitzarves doesn't have that much longer. For as brilliant as he is, he doesn't have that much longer. He plays off the wing. Mitch Duncan is very close to gone. Cam Guthrie's not playing. Mitch Duncan's been in and out. And also obviously injured at the moment, but they're falling off. I think these opportunities absolutely are still there for these guys. Tom Atkins is, what's he now? 30? He's got a few years for sure. But I could see Tom Atkins being for as much as I love him, and I think we've still got plenty of good years with him, I could see him being a retiree at age 33. And that's plenty of time for these blokes are going to be starting to really break through at age 24. Now we do have, pending, of course, legal things. We've got old mate TB, who's also another high quality midfielder there on the list that's chasing opportunity too, and would be brilliant if he gets out there. So it's a tricky one too. Memory says, any chance we can get Lucas and his mum together for post-game live if they play each other in the finals? That is a must. That is absolutely a must. Lucas and his mum need to be on the stream post-game live together. Win, lose, or draw for either team. If the Cats and the Crows play during the finals. Which opposition supporters respect Geelong the most? Or, which opposition supporters respect us? I don't know, because every single supporter these days it feels like, is lobbying against us because they're sick of us. And I understand the sentiment. They're kind of well and truly over us. Which team respects us the most? I think maybe not that they're maybe serious opposition for us this year because they've kind of fallen away this season. But I think Sydney, and I think there's a bit of a game respects game sort of thing. Like both teams have been the perennial, like the constant leaders of the ladder, driving the game forward, constantly winning. I think there's a game respects game thing. I think Sydney, maybe in that particular regard, they're of course having a down year this year, and it's all starting to come good for them potentially too late. But Lucas, you've not been paying enough attention, mate. We've had West Coast, we've had JL on the show plenty of times over the course of the year. He's awesome. Roaming says, I've woken up. I have woken up. A little Coke helped as well. You've all forced me to wake up. I've had to wake up. My wife's not going to know what hit her when I come home. Oh, geez, I'm not hitting her when I just come in wide and buzzing and pinging because I've smashed a Coke. I've been dealing with the chat constantly. This is insane. This could be a 4-hour show the way we're going. Jeez, that was such a bad choice of words. I think the 2002 VFL Grand Final win was also a big catalyst, just a positive catalyst. Yeah, I could see that. Closey, Nevitt, Stevens, Bowes are all going to go. Nah. I mean, I could see one or two of them. Maybe they go chasing opportunity. But no, I don't see that. Flash says none of those guys are a lock. So if we recruit another mid, they'll have to beat out for a spot. Very straightforward. The more competition, the better. We are not good enough this year, guys. Oh, Sam, bringing the negative vibes. I say that regretfully. Need a solid elite mid. Gary, I don't know quite what it's in response to, but you're right. Lucas is full of it. Sometimes. I love it, though. It's good fun. Connor Toomey, I think, for popping in for the first time tonight, unless I missed you before. I'd be surprised if Axe's body can hold up longer than 33. I still see some plans for Marlon to get him run at inside mid. I could see that as well. But yeah, I'm glad that kind of someone's at the same... Not that I love the idea of Axe being done sooner rather than later, but yeah, I don't see his body holding up long enough. And also, let's not forget your Jack Martins and those sorts of guys that have come through. Like, he's 30 already. And he's in his first year with us, but like these guys are close to the tipping point already. We're just cycling our players so much better these days that the opportunities are still going to be there. So we'll see how it goes. Also, just to the Jack Bowes part, don't forget he's 27 years old now. Like he's been around for a bit. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. I'd have to... Oh, that's the stream. Danger not putting effort in doesn't look interested anymore. People are getting too carried away with Paddy Dangerfield sitting back. The thing's in the way. With his leg crossed. He's always done it. People are thinking this is some body language thing. This is always how he is. He's such a laid-back individual. And then he steps foot on that ground and he's a bull at a gate. And we saw it on the weekend. I am not concerned about Paddy Dangerfield's intent in the slightest. Get some LA Ice. I'm not Lucas. Smash a Coke. Now, sponsor, Hoops Crew 2026. Coca-Cola. Don't think you can get us in the same room. I'd have to do a split screen. That's fine. We'll make it work. I think we have the wood on Sydney, haven't we? Yeah, I think so. But I just mean like the respect thing to that point from before. He's going to hit it tonight. I'm smashing Coke. LAI, Stevens is the GOAT. Who are the top three most valuable players? Who are our top three most valuable players this year? Jeremy Cameron. Max Holmes. And I don't think I'm going to say Bailey Smith. don't think I'm going to say Bailey Smith. I'm just double checking the lit. No, I'm not going to say Bailey Smith. I think I'm going to say, just making sure that I look at all names and faces so I don't screw anything up. I'm going to say our 3 most important players. Valuable to most important. I think they're similar. I think we're talking about the same thing. So Max Holmes, Jeremy Cameron, and I'm going to say Brian Myers is the other one. For the goal assists, for the score involvements, for all that he can generate, I think he's the other one. When he's off, do we have some problems? So for me, those are the 3. And I don't think that's too hot of a take. Bailey Smith's just like, he gets a lot of the ball. He pumps that ball inside 50. He doesn't do it with that same precision that Max Holmes can. Not that Max Holmes is the most accurate kick we've ever seen, but he is a step behind in that regard. I think he's crazy important to us, but not top 3. Ben is mid. I might just leave that pin for the rest of the show. Ben is mid. Flash says, serious question. If you're renovating a house and you have a chance to build either 2 living room TV rooms or 2 bathrooms, what do you go for? 2 bathrooms. Do you mean like an ensuite and a bathroom? Oh my God. The chat, it's coming so fast, I can't keep up. Don't clip that phrase. I assume you're kind of talking ensuite and bathroom, and absolutely you got to have the ensuite and bathroom. You can't not. But if you mean an ensuite and 2 bathrooms, that's getting a bit over the top. Give me the 2 living rooms. Lucas talking about the new camera. Did you go, Lucas? Sorry, and I know I'm a mile behind here. Did you buy your camera and mic? For anyone, and like, please don't hesitate to check the Discord. Lucas reached out the other day to ask. He had a bit of a budget to work with to get himself a mic and a camera. I sent him a recommendation of the Elgato face cam, and he was also looking to pick up one of the Blue Yeti mics, which is a great starting microphone to get. And then maybe you build up from there. There's some really good stuff out there. I want to get this replaced sometime, maybe in the off season. We'll see how we go to improve my thing. The most important thing, what I will say, from years of podcasts and video product now, video is hugely important. Getting nice picture quality is great, but people will rip you to strips if your audio is bad. Audio is the most important aspect. It feels weird when you're talking about YouTube, a video product, but the audio is the most important thing. And I remember, like, when we've been having various, audio technical issues, which I think has always been StreamYard, but when we've had audio issues over the course of the year, that's been the thing that's really kind of derailed the show. It's not been video stuff. No one outside of, we take the piss out of StreamYard when, graphics aren't appearing like they should, and it's all over. Then I've disappeared, and like all that. Like, it's annoying when video is not quite playing nice, but audio is the thing. Aaron says, Conway, Polkinghorne, Wiltshire, Retchko are our best young players coming through. They are absolutely smashing. It's really good to see. Gary says he's top 3. Smith, Holmes, and Dempsey. Can respect it, can understand where that comes from. Shadu, bathrooms increase a home's value heaps more per square metre to cost invested. We're looking at doing up our bathrooms in the next year or so. I'm exploring my options career-wise at the moment, and depending on what I do, I might then get paid out on my long service leave. And if I do that, the first thing I'm going to be doing is renovating my bathroom. Don't clip that and send that to my boss, please. Ronaldo at the World Cup, drink water, not Coke. Sorry, you forgot about Jez. How can you forget about the Coleman medal leader, Gary? Danger game against Sydney. I think so as well. We need 18 Michael Jordans. Need that guy. Need that guys. Don't lose. Isaac Heaney, 34 disposals and 5 goals. We are cooked in round 23. Let's Aiden. Come on. Grubs has popped in, I think, for the first time tonight. Good to hear from you, Wayne. What happened to Tanner? We don't talk about Tanner on the show because defamation is a thing. And we are just waiting for the courts to go through. If you're genuinely not sure, take a bit of a look. There's plenty of information out there that highlights he's kind of in the midst of a court thing at the moment. I don't really want to discuss it. Don't want to share my thoughts and opinions, not until it is all done and dusted. And that's kind of a Hoops Crew wide stance that we just don't really want to address it. Grinds the barometer. I'm trying to catch up. I feel like I'm never going to catch up. Trivia, have a look at the homes in your area and see the market value with the market event. Look, the market value of the homes around me, it's like 850, 900,000. It's crazy. And mine is apparently valued slightly above that. And we still want to renovate and add value. So everyone says ensuite and bathroom. Why 2 living rooms, 1 for the kids? My kids can play. Like, we've kind of got it already. Like, I'm in a good spot where I've got ensuite in the bathroom and I've got 2 living areas. Tom Stewart might be able to trade a building quote. That'd be nice. Oh, you're going to go. Luke's going to go get his stuff on Wednesday. Cool. 2 bathrooms. Roaming says, good job. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm going to have to wrap the show up sometime soon, but this is crazy. 1 for the cinema. So cool thing. And I think I spoke about this on the show the other night. My wife has been, like, she's a photographer, does maternity shoots, family shoots, does some wonderful stuff. If you want to get photos of you and your loved ones, your family, your wife, your husband, whoever it happens to be, and you're willing to come out to the beautiful Macedon Ranges, Angelica James Photography is the business that you want to go see. She is, and this, I'm not blowing smoke because she's my wife. I'm very proud of her. I love her very dearly, and I think she's doing a phenomenal job. But she is an extraordinarily good photographer. And she's just bought herself, or like started to rent, a studio space down in town for all of the indoor stuff that she plans on doing. She'd already set up. Oh, I should do audio issues and doxing myself. Yeah, that's another problem as well. Don't do that. We turned our garage only 6 to 9 months ago into her studio. We, completely whited out the floors. We did up all the walls. Like, a whole bunch of work went in there, turned into her studio. And then she's gone and bought this amazing new space. We're now thinking about turning that garage essentially into like a cinema space. We'll probably insulate it a bit, get it a little bit warmer in there, a bit more livable. And we might, we'll put the kids in there with movies and those sorts of things. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Nice entertaining space. So it wasn't the plan in the first place, but it's going really well. And again, if you need high quality photography, Angelica James Photography. I might just get a graphic and plug her in the show every single week alongside our good friends Cyril Cook Florist. All right, back to the chat. Oh my God, it's still like, we'll have no camera and audio for next week, so better win by 100 or hands will be thrown. Ben is mid. I like that we're back to that one. Oh, hang on. I've seen some of these already. Paul being late's the problem this year. Jam it. I was right on time. I have been for a little while lately, and I nearly wasn't. Ensuite, 1 bathroom always sells better. So audio, always a good start word for Wordle. Audio is also a good starting word for Wordle. Nice. I want to get more 7:30 time slot. I like doing the 7:30 time slot. It's a tricky one because my daughter, my wife and I alternate between the 2 kids for their bedtimes. My son's a little bit older. He does, like, we try to get in bed at the same time, but he kind of kicks on for a little bit longer. So 7:30 is a really dicey one. I'd never start. I wouldn't be prepared. I wouldn't have the graphics loaded up. A lot of those sorts of problems. So that kind of, whenever I have him, it becomes an 8 o'clock start. Today was my daughter. So Thursday will be an 8 o'clock start. But whenever I have my daughter, it's a 7:30 start because she goes to sleep a bit quicker. I do like 7:30. I much prefer 7:30. It also allows me to kind of get inside and be with my wife and enjoy the rest of the night. 8 o'clock kind of takes away a bit more of my evening, but it is what it is. We'll kind of, as a team, probably sit down and work out what works best for the show next year, because there are really good pieces of feedback like Luke's that Thursdays are a bit of a tricky night because, of course, the football's on. And we're dealing with a live show. There's some weird challenges about it. The attack on my mic was so bad on the first video I ever did. Good audio is everything. Thank you for agreeing. We're still talking about bathrooms. No laundry, but maybe soon. Just finished watching Seinfeld. Of course he is. Manage a paint business. Hit me up if you need discount on paint supplies. Would it be like, Aaron, would it be for stuff like concrete? Because but also my dad is you might know them since you're kind of paint business. Axo Nobel. He's like top brass for them. He's corporate. He's making 7 figures being a globetrotter, doing all sorts of stuff. It's awesome for him. I wish I got some of that money. But maybe you're familiar with the business. Maybe you interact with them in some way. Axo Nobel. Dylan has popped in. First time for the show as well. That's awesome. Please make sure the link was around before. Shadoo's just dropped it. Jump in the Discord as well. Be great to hear from you. Conversation continues well beyond the boundaries of this show. Q&A has gone for 50 minutes, and I feel like I haven't stopped talking. I am knackered. Everyone needs to go support Jed's new cafe. Ben, hit up Jed Buse. Let's get him as his cafe as a sponsor of the show. That is an idea. Bugger the cars. Who needs a garage? That's right. Luke's mum is checking out for the night. Oh, I've almost caught up. Wayno, hi Dylan. Oh, hang on. Maybe Wayne and Dylan know each other. That's awesome. Have a lovely sleep, Crow's girl. Dream of a cat's crow's granny with the cats winning, of course. Gary's making it a bit easier on me. He's going to bed. Oh, Ben drops a question. Would Reece Stanley have a gentle handshake, or would it be unnecessarily firm and aggressive? We must have the answers. I've gotten a handshake from Reece Stanley, and it was a pretty normal handshake. Betty's on Moorabool Street. Is that Jed's cafe? I've been seeing, but I haven't caught the name. But Ben, hit up Jed. See if he'll be a sponsor of the show. That'd be awesome. He's got a lot of love for us. He's been a Behind the Play guest. Please, if you haven't checked out the episode of Behind the Play with Jed Buse, go check it out. Cat's Crow's Granny, please God no. For Lucas's household, that'd be bad news. For I think the theatre for us looking on the outside in would be awesome. And if we lose, we want to know nothing about it. Great question, Ben. Very gentle, I would imagine. Maybe a gentle chest bump. Shadoo says Reese's handshakes are soft and smooth silk, a gentle caress of alluring farmland, and the scent of fresh cut grass and cow poo. Luke says your background, Paul, is that the garage? This is my shed. So back in 2020, pandemic years, I got this shed built. I was using my podcast space it's kind of considered the fourth bedroom of the house, but it's not. It's too small to be a bedroom. We've kind of made it like the kids' playroom. But at the time, casting my back to 2020, my son was like 1 and a bit, and 2 for a stage, and then my daughter was born during 2020, which was having a kid during the pandemic was awful. But that kind of what is now the kids' playroom was my recording space, but my voice would project through the house. The walls were very thin, and it had disturbed my son when he was trying to sleep. And I needed a bit of extra room anyway for a lot of the stuff that's going on here. I wanted to have a space that was like a studio space, and so we built it. Now, to be clear, and I'll swing the camera properly in a second. This is just my shed. Behind my desk is the lawnmower, and now Lucas, I did make a kid during the pandemic. We're talking about my daughter here. She was a September baby, so she was first created before the pandemic hit. We didn't know what was happening. I mean, the pandemic, we knew full well what was happening. I'll move on from that because I'm pretty sure. Blakey, who's been in the chat tonight, is a student as of mine as of 12 months ago, and let alone other students who I definitely know tune in every now and then. So I don't need to talk about my kids and how they came to be. Do I have a figurine allowance? Sorry, you're the. Oh, damn it! Sorry, Flash. Paul, do you have a figurine allowance? And if so, what is per financial year? No. So a lot of these, and I will get back to the swinging the camera around a sec too. 2020, 2013, 2015, 2022, 2014. This is not a huge number at the end of the day, but it's also taken. It's also it's a decade plus of all these, and a few things have been sent for free. A few things like PR, like things I get from PR as well. So, great, Nev. We're not talking about Paul's sex life. Aaron says, are you selling any Hoops Crew merch at the Port pre-game catch-up? Lucas wants the PlayStation lights. Let's put them on. But yeah, this to summarize that, it's been a slow build. This has taken a long, long time, and it wasn't necessarily because I had a studio in mind. A lot of them were like parts of collector's editions. In fact, pretty much all of them are collector's editions. Certainly, everything in that middle, like that main row here, they were all just from various collector's editions over the years, and I've just kept the statues. Yeah, that's kind of the origins behind that. Sarah says, must have been stressful. I'm glad I wasn't pregnant during the pandemic. I'm 33, mine are 11 and 8 now. Yeah, look, it was a challenge, especially so like working from home. My wife was, especially towards the end of the pregnancy, she's heavily pregnant. My son's getting around. I'm kind of in the house and could help but can't because I'm teaching and trying to remote. Like it was a very tricky one to try and manage that one. And I don't, honestly, like my personal belief, I don't think I did a very good job in supporting my wife through that time. I think I could have done a lot better than what I actually did. And I know everyone faced their challenges. I know everything was hard for everyone, but I think I did a pretty poor job in that regard. And I think I'm making things, made things right since, but it was a bit of a trick. And certainly towards the end of the pregnancy, that was a real challenge. Flash says, should the Hoops Crew do figurines of Ben, Lucas, Kiri, and Ethan? That'd be cool. Joshy says, the background makes me think of my guest bedroom, shelves and filing cabinets of comic books along with statues surrounding the bed. What I'll do, so I inherited my nerddom from my mum specifically. Lucas, they're not actually all that bright. You can you get a bit of a sense for it. They're not, it's not ridiculous. And Roaming says, camera swivel reminder, I haven't forgotten. I inherited my nerdiness from my mum. Now, you reference comics. For her, I mean, she likes video games as well. She kind of helps fuel the habit still. But for her, it's comics, and she still collects them. It's a crazy amount. When I go to her house next, I'll make sure to take a photo of her library. They have a library in their house, a double-story library in their new house. Again, this is my dad and his millions that he earns, and I'm not seeing a fucking cent of it. Dad, if you're watching, pony up. They've got this double-story library, and the whole bottom thing is just completely consumed by comics. So I'll make sure, I'll come and take a photo or a video and put it in the Discord sometime soon. So again, please, if you haven't already, join the Discord. It's gonna be a time once you see all that. It's absolutely insane. Who's winning the BNF? Max Holmes, the way he's tracking. Oh no, they look broken, or is that the setting? What's broken? Oh no, yeah, that's the setting. It's setting, like it toggles around. So there's a few different. Sorry, Lucas, I may as well. So where's the button? Like it can alternate really fast. I think that just turn it off. You can just leave them on. Like, there's a bit going on. There's also this one as well. Oh no, it's plugged in. It's just static blue. We'll leave them all on now. Why not? We're here. We may as well do it. Sarah says the son started prep in 2020. So, yeah, getting close to those high school ages. It sucked during the first year of COVID. Prep students starting in 2020, yeah. I feel for those families, for those kids. Really difficult. So many kids are behind due to the school shutdowns. They couldn't do any online learning. Yeah, I think primary schools affected the most because the kids just weren't capable of using the technology to the same level that the high school students were. As a teacher, I obviously mentioned some of the things that I think I failed at as a parent and a father and a husband at that time. But as a teacher, I thrived, especially once I got this studio. I had my 2 screens set up. I delivered my content. I was equipped and ready to go when the pandemic hit, because of all the games work I was already doing. So I was in a really good spot for it. But I adapted to it really well. And it got to a point where like I'd deliver, I'd have the camera and I'd be talking to the camera to the students. They're getting whatever learning they need. Meanwhile, this exact same screen, I had the PlayStation on it, and the video for the live chat or whatever was actually on the second screen. So I could see their comments in the periphery and I'd be across it. Meanwhile, I'm playing PlayStation here. Such a good time. And some of the results that I got in those years for my year 12s, because I was able to give them more time, more one-on-one, I was available essentially whenever. I haven't had, like, especially 2021, the results, I've never had results like it. I'm getting close these days. I'm absolutely, like, my year 12 scores are the best in the region at the moment. I'm very proud of that fact. But 2021 was something else. It was unreal. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, no, I'm not proud of, I think, how I was, but I'm trying to do better. Library sounds phenomenal. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'll make sure I get some photos and videos in the Discord sometime soon. I've got a whole bunch of mail. They've gone up to Queensland the last week or so to catch up with some friends. I've been collecting the mail for them, so maybe when I drop it off, I'll take a photo or a video of the library. Lots of 2020 preps get assisted reading support. I heard Xbox is restructuring. What are they going to do to stay relevant? They're staying relevant by publishing their games on PlayStation. They're just going elsewhere at the moment to get their sales. I thought they were part of the cardboard, but they are PlayStation lights. Yeah. Massively dedicated teacher. Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, I mean, Blake, I don't know if Blaze, I think, has disappeared now, but Blake is one of my year 12s from last year. So he'll be able to speak to, good or bad, what I was like as a teacher. But I think, like, I really, especially my year 12s, I try and throw the absolute kitchen sink at them. What I achieve with them is the thing that I'm most proud of in my work setting. Starfield on PlayStation, Lucas says, only matter of time. I've also got an old classic JRPG for you, or like an indie game, but a throwback Pokemon on PlayStation. God damn it, Lucas, not happening. What is the thing next to the PlayStation light? Oh, do you mean on the left? This one? This was a gift. I don't know how audible I am, sorry. This is a gift from PlayStation. Oh, no, I'm dropping stuff. This particular shelf has a few of the gifts I've received specifically from PlayStation. PlayStation is the thing that spiderwebs. God. This was for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So there's a whole bunch of like knickknacks and stuff inside. The box is very hard to reassemble, so I'm not going to try and open it up now. But there was a whole bunch of stuff inside it. It was just this PR pack. It's really, really cool. This is for Days Gone, the 2019 title. Again, these are all things that, like, you can't buy these things. This world comes to you. It's a message from John Garvin, who I've gone on to interview since, and I chat to him every now and then. And it's some art. It kind of explains a bit of the world. Look, if I'm being real, it's schmoozing the reviewers. They're trying to suck up to an extent with goodies and those sorts of things to try and get good favor and try and win your heart. But it helps, like, it doesn't really matter because the games are good. So you just kind of go, thanks for the cool swag, but I'll just review the game on its merits. And any reviewer worth their salt can kind of check all this stuff at the door anyway, say thank you, but then treat the game as it should be. So there's those two. This one goes back, like, this tells you how long I've been doing this. So let me double check the release date for this. Little Big Planet 3. Little Big Planet 3 came out in 2014. This was a little press pack that I got with Little Big Planet 3 for the PS4. These things, when they go up on eBay, go up for a shit ton of money. So it was a little special. There's a game disc that works. Can't get that from anywhere else. As well as a little book that outline. Oh shit! With stickers, a promo for Run Sackboy Run, which was a little mobile game. Some pictures of the little characters. Like there's these kind of cool little knickknacks. And back at the time, and I guess especially something like 10 years ago, there was a lot of this going on. So that's, and I'm sure there was some that were absolutely not getting paid off, not as in like financial, like straight up bribery, but they were immature enough that they would fall for this sort of stuff. Like good PR, like is any team, and it's something like I've got friends in PR, in games media PR. And I love chatting to them. But the thing that I have to be mindful of whenever I'm talking to them is that they are trying to win me over at the end of the day. Good business for them is making, like, they want me to feel like I am their friend and that I need to help them or I need to support them and that they're here to help and support me. There's kind of this quid pro quo, but really they just want us to say good things about the product that they're there to market. So I love them. I've got some great, but it's always just there that I've got to make sure that there's a transactional component to a lot of the work we do. What else have we got? This is, I'm pretty sure this is the Order 1886. Yeah, this is the Order 1886. It's this thing from Nikola Tesla. Well, not obviously from Nikola Tesla. Inside, a few different art cards and stuff as well. Patches and shit. And yeah, like there's other cool stuff like that. Like PlayStation did a lot of it. They were really good to me back in the day. I think this is PlayStation sent me a Ghost of Tsushima diary. This was the PS4 review disc for Tearaway. And you can see again, there's no cartridge for it. It's just the disc on a panel there. Some old, and this goes back to when you'd still get sent like physical discs of games for review. For Honor from Ubisoft, Street Fighter 5, NBA 2K17, Resident Evil 7. I'll put all these away later. But there's plenty of stuff that I get from PR. Nintendo is really good to me. They recently sent me like the amiibo for Donkey Kong just because. But to Horacio's question, do you think they should have done a follow-up? What I would encourage people to do, if you like, and PlayStation is my pet subject when it comes to all things games, in case it's not abundantly clear from all of this. If you want to hear me talk about PlayStation in depth, go check out the Patched podcast. It's on YouTube as well, the Player 2 YouTube channel. I'm going to quickly project it all now. Player 2 AU. I'm going to get my screen share going. Lucas wants the Ghost stuff. Make sure you pick up Ghost of Yote later in the year. Where's it gone? Player 2. Now, my stuff is written first and foremost, but on the YouTube channel, Patched is the show. There's plenty of videos, hundreds of thousands of videos that we've got on the channel. They don't do big numbers. Our bread and butter is written stuff, not video stuff. But on the Player 2 YouTube channel tomorrow, I have a new episode of Patched. It's a 2-hour marathon with a good friend of mine, Ryan Betson. He hosts a PlayStation show, the biggest PlayStation show in Australia, called For the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast. He comes on the show. We're good mates, but we haven't really been able to do content together in quite some time, mostly because I'm doing a lot of this these days. And it's a 2-hour thing where we talk about basically every single one of PlayStation's first-party studios, what they're doing, why they're doing it in a lot of depth. So please, the Player 2 YouTube channel or Patched, the podcast feed, check that out tomorrow. Love for you to listen to it. It's a long one, 2 hours, played on 1.5 speed. Where are we? And then, sorry, now we got to turn the camera around. Let's do that now before I do forget. So the behind the scenes, we're going to lose probably audio at the same. Oh no, hang on, it's all falling apart. Stay there. Don't go anywhere, people. I knocked my mic loose. Behind the scenes. Are the lights going to kill this? Like, shed. On the left there, you can see kind of a couple like IKEA Billy bookshelves that are full of games and CD. Like the one closest, like my old CD collection that I haven't gotten rid of. But then the games kind of just occupy the rest of it. We've got drills and mowers and other storage. There's a few boxes I need to throw out. The mower is tucked somewhere up the back there. You can see the back of it. An old exercise bike that my mother-in-law tried to offload to us. That is all behind the scenes and just kind of right behind the camera as the show goes on. So that's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Sorry it took so long to get back to that. But yeah, it was 6x3, the size of the shed. So it gives me a bit of wiggle room to have all this and then still have all the space. And that's a lot of video games. I assume that's it does get cold. It's why I appear less on post-game live in the middle of the season, because it's bloody cold in here and it's quite late, so it's really, really cold in here. I need to get a little portable heater just to warm it up when I'm in here for later stints, but I haven't done that yet. Finances have been pretty tight, so again, Dad's not helping his son out. But finance has been a bit tight, so I am doing a lot of work on the side to try and get a bit of income. A lot of that comes from my video game work. So we do this, and like there's a bit that comes from the Hoops Crew work and the YouTube numbers, the Patreon numbers. It helps kind of how far back is the shelf. I'll try and swing it one more time, maybe get a better angle on it. The light creates a lot of glare. There's 2 long Billy bookcases and then that white one on the end, which I can't even remember where they came from. I think we had it in the house at one point, and I've kind of claimed it when we no longer needed it. So there's 2 of those big long Billies, and then another bookshelf that's about as wide but just a smidge shorter on the end. So there's 3 of them long. They're probably, what are they? Probably a meter long each. So there's a good 3 meters or thereabouts. But yeah, so I guess like I had a little bit of a cash injection yesterday. Ben says doxing coming. Nothing about my details here. The other one behind me, I can touch it. Like it's pretty close. But I do a bunch. So as well as the hoops, as well as my Player 2 work, as well as teaching, as well as trying to be a dad, I'm also working on some books at the moment. So I write for, and I'm gonna get my screen sharing going again. Due to another podcast I listened to, Sacred Symbols, or specifically the Last Stand Media, Colin Moriarty. I through listening to that show and interviewing Colin years ago for my show Dev Diary, I learned of Sandeep Rai, who has a platform that he calls Too Old for Gaming. I hate when it does that. Come back. Add to stage. There we go. Too Old for Gaming. And I learned of him when he initially published, when he initially published Vita Means Life, about the PlayStation Vita. But since then, I helped him with the PS3 book. I contributed to that. We've got so the RPM, the retro play, and these are all physical media things, by the way. You can buy PDFs of them, but they are physical media, print media stuff. I'm going to resize that so it fits a bit better on the screen. All these are physical magazines. They cost like £7 and so what, about 15 Aussie dollars, plus shipping, which is the killer for us out here. But we get them, like, they're all things that I've pretty much worked on. This is not mine. There's a Twitter user called Obsolete Sony who does some really good stuff about Sony. He's got a virtual year-by-year thing for them. But all of the RPM issues that I've worked on, I contribute a few reviews, a few features from time to time. And I am currently, so we are working on, he's already announced this, so I'm happy to go with it. We are working on a PSP book akin to our Vita and PS3 one. That is going to go live on Kickstarter later in the year. And you got a bit of a sense from, like, it's a big, hefty book. Something we're very, very proud of. We've got one for the PSP. This school holiday period, I wrote about 6 or 7 retrospectives and features in, like, as many days for that book, because we're looking to get that one kickstarted later this year. And that, like, for a bit of context, for like the PS3 one, for example, we made, and I didn't see the majority. I got paid for the sections I did. I've got my own book coming. We'll talk about that. But we made nearly £60,000, so $120,000 from that. And that, obviously, from there, you have to pay the artists who and everyone who does the book compilation. Sandeep needs to pay himself for his work. There's shipping and manufacturing, all those costs that come into it. So a lot of that gets whittled away, as well as him paying all the contributors like myself. But we've got one there. I've contributed quite a lot to the next one. It's called On the Go, about the PSP. Lucas, we're not doing a 3-hour show. I need to go and see my wife. But yeah, we've got that book coming out, coming to Kickstarter soon. And please don't post this. I need to find it. I need to go to my Twitter DMs for a sec. I need to find it. I don't know how far back I've got to scroll, so this might take me a little while. But we are working on. I am working on. This is my project. This is my project, and I am. We're not doing a 3-hour show, damn it. Actually, so what I will show is, like, this is a little snippet of. I need to fix the screen share now. This is like a little example of, like, I wrote this review of Sly Cooper. You can see my name. You can see my name there, written by Paul James, dates, all those sorts of things. That's a little example of what we're doing. I'm going to unshare the screen for a sec while I continue to scroll through, because I don't need to see the conversations or some of the behind the scenes stuff. But because these are just like, once we get the mock render sent through, he goes, "Here, Paul, here's how it looks." But I'm working on a very special project, and I've got some really cool interviews that I've already sorted out, that I'm in the process of sorting out for this. This is a mock cover it's already changed since. The 40 years of Naughty Dog. This is my project. Sandeep is publishing it. So I've got myself a platform to be able to do it. The biggest and best game studio in the business, as far as I'm concerned, is Naughty Dog, the creators of Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, The Last of Us, and the upcoming Intergalactic. This is the best team in the business. It's their 40-year anniversary. I've been working on this book since about January. I'm getting a few interviews to round it all out. I'm putting a few retrospectives together for the big 4 franchises, and then it's done. And then we're taking it to Kickstarter. And I'm so unbelievably excited to have my own book published. And you think I plug Cyril Cook? Holy shit. I'm going to be spruiking the shit out of my own work. I am so excited about this. This is my book. And we haven't revealed this publicly. So please I'm trusting the 20, 30 of you that are watching the stream at this point. Let's just keep it between us for now. But I'm very, very excited about this. Let Naughty Dog do Crash Bandicoot won't ever happen. But yeah, that's what's next, and I'm pretty excited. And it's nearly done. That's the amazing thing. Like, it is nearly done. But we publish a quarterly magazine. We've got this PSP book coming. There's been heaps of awesome other projects along the way. Sandeep's a machine. He's an absolute machine. I'm so privileged to be able to work with him to publish things in physical print media in 2025, which just doesn't happen really. It's awesome. Why not? Because they don't own the Crash Bandicoot franchise anymore. Xbox owns the Crash Bandicoot. Once they bought Activision, they bought the license. And yes, roaming, we are going to get to game of the show. You're helping me get back on track because we are going to wrap this show up. I'm not pushing it over 2 hours. It's already gone on too long in the nicest possible way. Let's get to our game of the show here, which, Lucas, I hope you're paying attention because you like yourself a classic RPG. You talk about Lufia all the time. We also don't mind a bit of Chrono Trigger, all those sorts of games. And I've got one for you here that's coming out. I don't actually know when, but it's cool. Shadoo, stick it out for 2 more minutes. We're going to introduce you to a cool video game. It's called Threads of Time. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Threads of Time, the time-traveling RPG that made waves at Tokyo Game Show last year. Rio Games, the team behind Threads of Time, is a passionate group of 90s JRPG fans who spent countless after-school hours journeying through iconic games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy. From the amazing cast of characters to the eternally memorable soundtracks, the Rio Games team is on an adventure to capture the magic we remember from those timeless classics. Today, the team is excited to announce a fresh face joining the Threads of Time party, Barza, a daring sky pirate planning a heist in 1000 AD. Except they may have bitten off more than they can chew. So before we go, please wishlist Threads of Time, and thank you for watching.
Sorry, forgot that I muted myself. Ben, I don't have an answer for your question. I don't know, whatever. But Lucas, you're 100% on the money. What makes a good RPG is the hang on, that's not the one. Is the soundtrack. We do like Ben's smarmy comments, but also we can get fucked. Telstra is back with the virus. Ben is the middling part of the Hoops crew. Agreed. Ben, we're not taking any more questions. Show is over. We might try and fold those questions into the Thursday night show, though. You can just copy paste that, Ben. I've saved you a little bit of time. All right, everyone. We are pushing 2 hours. I'm not going to let it extend to beyond that because I do need to get inside. Thank you all for having tuned in. The dozen of you that are still here at the very, very end of the show. Very much appreciate it. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube, like this video, share the video with your friends and family, get the word out there about all of the content we're creating. Thank you to the amazing folks who popped into the chat for the first time tonight, who've checked out Hoops Crew content for the first time tonight. It's been awesome. Love you and hope you stick around. If you've enjoyed it, comment live when you're watching, comment after the fact. Please get your voice out there. We want to hear from all of you. It's awesome to have you, and we want this community to be as big and vibrant as it can possibly be. You can use the super chat function. No one's used it tonight. That is totally fine. There is no pressure to do so. But we do love that little bit of extra support, and we do make sure to really celebrate the kind folks who pledge a few bucks with a super chat during any given show. It is much appreciated, and these sorts of little drops in the bucket are the lifeblood of the Hoops Crew. We very much appreciate it. You can find me on socials, Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at the Hoops Crew. Thank you to our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for that support of the show and all the stuff that we create. It's awesome to have you on board. And finally, consider checking out our Patreon. I talk about the lifeblood. Patreon is where we kind of fund our projects. The way we can justify the time that we put into this, the fact that we can have a 2-hour stream, the fact that we can invest in new equipment. You saw the lights, obviously, when I did the tour before. All that comes from Patreon money, YouTube, ad rev, all those sort of things. The money that comes in helps us build our platform and create better product. So thank you to all of you who are patrons. There's about nearly 40 of you who are. Thank you to each and every single one of you. And of course, for doing so, you're not just getting thanks from us, but there's early access content, exclusives, and extended content there for you to check out from myself, Ben, and the chaps. Lots of stuff. Please go check it out and enjoy. That's where we'll wrap things up for the night. Thank you all. There's a few extra comments there at the very, very end. Paul's getting uppity. Jeez. All right, go to 2 hours. 2 hours and 30. Get on the super chat. Oh, now if someone got it on the super chat, I'd probably have to add 5 minutes on just to... if someone dropped a $5 super chat, I'd probably have to add 5 minutes just to make sure we got to the 2 hours. Paul, 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 15 seconds. Roaming's dropping some flower emojis, some pizza emojis. We need to get some super chats so Paul can get that tattoo. What tattoo? Jam it. We need to get donations so we can retire modeling, Ben. I'll go to 2. I'll do the extra few minutes if a super chat comes in. Otherwise, I'm going to bounce. So... since it hasn't, middling, 2 hours and 22.2 seconds. Middling. It's not how long the show is, it's what you do with it. Turns out we're both long and doing good things with it. And how many newbies you bring in? I'm sure we were promised 3 hours. Joshy, now this is the first time you've popped into the actual comment section tonight. Like as far as I'm concerned, or maybe I've missed it in a post-game live or something. This is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Don't be starting some shit with me by... I didn't promise 3 hours of any sort. Girthy show tonight, says Ben. All right. Thank you all for having tuned in, as always. I very much appreciate it. I beef for Paul so he doesn't get fired. I'm not going to get fired. I'm carrying these blokes. Ben and the chaps. My shoulders are sore. I'm dragging that many along behind me. But Josh is getting amongst it. I like it as well. Thank you all for having tuned in. It's been a pleasure as always. Look forward to doing it all again on Thursday. Lucas, stop your sulking, drop watching the football, and join the Paul James Show. It's a good time. We've done an hour and a half of Q&A tonight. It's been good fun, and I look forward to doing it all again in a couple of days. See you Thursday when no footy is on. Ben and I will probably chat in the off-season about ways that we can kind of schedule the show differently to make it work. You'll come to regret me speaking up. No. I look forward to you being here more in the future. Get busy in the Discord in the meantime, Joshy. And to everyone else, I look forward to chatting to you soon. Remain Geelong strong. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you on Thursday.